I don't know. I think there's one more article that I want to touch on. Is what John Romita Jr. talk about the comic book industry, and I'm gonna call it a night after that. John Romita Jr. blasted modern comic industry, stick with entertainment and stop with the preaching. John Romita Jr. is one of the most respected creators in comics, co-creator of Kick-Ass with Mark Miller, and a longtime veteran who's worked on nearly every superhero. Which is crazy is I am old enough to remember his father. It is I think it's kind of rare that you have father and son in the same industry, both of which become like legendary figures in that industry. That really doesn't happen a lot. So shout out to freaking John Romita Jr. and his pops, especially on Father's Day. He's done a new interview telling the comic creator stick with entertainment, stop with the preaching. I have a wildly successful launch of a new Kickstarter project with Mark Millar. Psycho Sam, John Romita Jr. is going around doing interviews to promote the project. Son of the great John Romita Sr., whose work on The Amazing Spider-Man is legendary. He's been the staple in the comic book industry for decades with his distinctive style of dynamic action leading to some of the most memorable comics in the last 30 years. He went on the World Balloon podcast on Friday, June 13th, just recently, talk about Psycho Sam and a myriad of other topics. Eventually, the conversation shifted to politics. He spoke he spoke of New York and the conditions that it's been in lately, saying, Willie Giano made the city safe for a while, and then the next mayor Bloomberg did a good job, and the guy after that did a lousy job, and the city is still struggling. That would be one De Blasio. There were days when you can walk Times Square with your family and your grandchildren is wonderful. Same thing with California. My wife is from San Diego. You can walk to the beach. Can't do that in San Diego. You can't do that in New York City. Everything has changed. Yes, I went to downtown Los Angeles last month because I had to, because I had jury duty. And as I'm turning down the street to go find some place to park, a homeless dude walked into the middle of the street and flashed me. At that point, I have no clue what to do. Like, I'm in my car, I don't know what this guy's gonna do, and he's buck naked in front of me. Like, do I drive around? But what I'm thinking is like, why do I need to deal with this? I'm already down here. I'm already in a place that I want to be, having to pay parking that I don't want to do, and I got to deal with this too. And whoever thought that, it's a good idea to not actually do anything about this, I don't understand that thought process, but that's a digression on my part. From there, okay, so he said something's got to be done. All right. From there, he was asked about the current state of comic book industry, where he issued a stern warning to creators to think that if they stick to entertainment, you morons who make decisions. Stick to entertainment. Don't preach to me. Don't tell me which side of the coin I should be on politically. I don't care. I'm independent. Make me smile with entertainment. Yes. Most people they got enough problems. I just want to read about the adventures of Batman or Superman or Spider-Man or whoever. I don't need to have your personal politics inside the thing. And before anybody says that when they were always being political, no, they had aspects of politics in them, but they were not overtly political. Everyone's viewpoint will go into whatever you're doing. You can't, it's kind of hard to not do that, but it's just, you have to be able to realize, and everyone quotes this from Michael Jordan, Republicans buy shoes too. You can't just write a thing that only appeals to a small part of the market and then you're shocked where you can't make any money. Because whenever they do polls about which side of the fence people sit on, most people are independent or they're non-political. They're neither Republican nor Democrat. So you are trying to preach to a small portion of the population, either side. Most people like this are like him, independent. Think both sides are crazy. You're not helping yourself by trying to pitch to one. Just tell a universal story, hero's journey, everyone, and as they used to do, not that difficult, something that everybody can relate to. a little bit of daring do, like a little bit of excitement, throw a little bit of humor in there. Fine. Like I said, everybody's humor is not the same, so they may not be able to get your humor, but enough people will, and then you actually sell the product. You know the biggest selling R-rated movie of all time, and everyone knows it is Wolverine and Deadpool because it was entertainment. It was mostly most funny. I see people on airplanes laughing out loud watching that movie. To return to stating how policies ruin recent films. Don't preach, entertain. The anger in me is there. It's palpable because the damage has been done to the industry. Damage has been terrible as the comic book industry has been declining in profits and sales in recent years because of the overabundance of politics driving casual reader away from superhero books and going over to manga. Now there are different types of manga. They have some that lean left, some that lean right, but it is a variety of types of stuff, and you can just go to whatever path you want and don't touch on any of the stuff because there's a variety. Comic books right now, there is no variety. It's all written by the same people who are pitching the same stories to the same folks, and that is a smaller and smaller and smaller part of the population, which everyone else is starting to feel like you got pushed aside. So it's like, all right, if you're not writing for me and you've told me that you're not writing for me, so why should I give you money? And causing, all right, so called the comic book stores. Yeah, it's like that's another bad part of all of this is the comic book stores going out of like business. That is the kind of thing like as a kid you go to is all these different types of stories, the different types of comics and all this other stuff. It is a wide world of stuff, especially if you when you're a little boy. Like they got girls comic books for the most part. This stuff is for boys, and they've taken so much stuff away from boys that is not even funny. All right, so when he relates to an industry, film says, I think the film industry 25, 30 years ago should have done this, and all those bring the writers with premises month to month, or films or TV shows at least. If I own a studio, my hand to God, I would hire about 10 of those writers from the comic industry. I'd say, here are $1 million each. Give me a year's worth of your premises. I'll turn them into stories, TV shows, and films. Every comic book writer is a brilliant mind in that respect. Come on into film, and then they'd hire me to do storyboards for all of them comic creators or filmmakers. I don't care what anybody says. He concluded reiterating his point and stick with the entertainment and stop with the preaching. His fiery statement represents a lot of comic book fans. I'm saying year over year, saying over recent years, as Marvel and DC Comics don't seem to be able to get the message that people don't want extreme leftist identity politics shoved in their faces every time they open a book. It's insulting to the reader's intelligence and it causes a share of harm to comics. And also, the one of the guys who's in charge at Marvel, like, doesn't want Peter Parker to actually grow up. Doesn't want Peter Parker to be with Mary Jane. Not because the fans don't want it. He's doing it because he just doesn't want to do it. It's like the weirdest thing. They put out an alternative like another universe book where Mary Jane and Peter Parker are married with two kids and it's outselling the regular Spider-Man. So it is quite clear that your fan base wants this. And just like with the politics and just that, it's just they refuse to do it. You're in a business. You need to appeal to your customer base, period. You don't get to dictate for the most part. You can, as long as you're doing the stuff that they kind of want, you can introduce new things. And maybe that will take that will hit. But you can't just do new things and not give people what they want. That's not how anything works, and people will just walk away, which is what they're doing. Hopefully, we'll eventually. You can kind of start to see like a ray of sunshine, like light at the end of the tunnel.